Hello, my name is Maria del Rubiera Morales from grade 10-2, and today I will be presenting my video analysis of the novel Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet is quite a famous novel all over the world, read and appreciated by many people, so famous that it has even been translated into many languages and represented in several movies. Historical background of the novel. The Romeo and Juliet novel is believed to be based on a true Italian love story for 3rd century, 1200. The royal families were called Capuletti and Monteschi. Shakespeare's 1594 version was based on Arthur Brooke's 1562 poem, The Tragical Story of Romeo and Juliet. Settings. The setting is in Verona, Italy. Verona is a city in northeastern Italy. In Shakespeare's lifetime it was part of the Venetian Republic, but until 1405 it had been an independent city-state. The Verona of Romeo and Juliet seems to be independent and with its own prince, who authorized and enforced local laws. The characters. Romeo. Romeo is the son and heir of old Montague and Lady Montague. Romeo, a young man of about 16, is handsome, intelligent, and very sensitive, although impulsive and immature. His idealism and passion make him an extremely lovable character. He lives in the middle of a violent feud between his family and the Capulets, but he is not at all interested in violence. His only interest is love. Juliet is a daughter of old Capulet and Lady Capulet. Juliet is a beautiful girl who is 13 years old. At the beginning of the play is like a naive girl who has thought little about love and marriage, but matures quickly after falling in love with Romeo, the son of the great enemy of her family. As she is a girl from an aristocratic family, she does not have freedom like Romeo to roam the city, jump over walls in the middle of the night, or engage in sword fights. Friar Lawrence. Friar Lawrence is a Franciscan friar. Friend of Romeo and Juliet, he is gentle, moral, a supporter of moderation, and always prepared with a strategy. In addition to being a Catholic saint, Friar Lawrence is also an expert in the use of potions and seemingly mystical herbs. Benvolio, Montague's nephew, Romeo's cousin and thoughtful friend. Throughout the play, he has always tried to promote peace between the two families and prevent them from fighting. Mercutio. Mercutio is related of the prince and Romeo's close friend. Mercutio abounds with imagination, intelligence, and at times a strange biting sarcasm and melancholic fervor. Mercutio loves wordplay, especially those with a sexual double meaning. The nurse. Juliet's nurse, the woman who nursed Juliet as a baby and who has cared for Juliet all her life. A vulgar, wordy, and sentimental character, the nurse provides comic relief with her often inappropriate comments and speeches. Tybalt. A Capulet, he is Juliet's cousin on his mother's side. Vain, fashionable, supremely conscious of courtesy and the lack of it. He becomes aggressive, violent, and quick to draw his sword when he feels his pride has been wounded. He feels a terrible hatred for the Montagues. Old Montague, father of Romeo, patriarch of the Montague clan and worst enemy of the Capulets. Lady Montague, mother of Romeo and wife of old Montague. Old Capulet, the patriarch of the Capulet family, Juliet's father, Lady Capulet's husband, and the Montagues' worst enemy. He is quite wise, and is not very aware of Juliet's new love. Lady Capulet, mother of Juliet and wife of old Capulet, a woman who married young, she gave birth to Juliet when she was about 13 years old. She is an ineffective mother who relies on the North for moral and pragmatic support. Paris, a relative of the prince and Juliet's most favorite suitor for all Capulet. In the play, he is sometimes acts as if he is already married to Juliet. Prince Escalus, Prince of Verona and related to Mercutio and Paris, he is concerned with maintaining public peace at all cost. Friar John, a Franciscan friar commissioned by Friar Lawrence to bring the news of Juliet's false death to Romeo. Balthazar, Romeo's servant who brings him the news of Juliet's death, unaware that her death is a fake. Samson and Gregory, two servants of the Capulet household who hate the Montagues. Abraham, servant of the Montague household who fights with Samson and Gregory in the first scene of the play. Peter, a servant of the Capulet, she is uneducated and a bad singer. Rosaline, the woman Romeo falls in love with at the beginning of the play. Characters say she is very beautiful and has sworn to lead a life of chastity. The apothecary of Mantua, who sells poison to Romeo. The conflict. The main conflict of the novel Romeo and Juliet is a rivalry between the two families, the Montagues and the Capulet. The rivalry is so strong that if it were not for Prince Escalus, they would start a war. Plot. Plot number 1. The Montagues and the Capulet families are at war and have had another fight. The prince who keeps the peace in Verona says that if there is any more fighting, they will kill the head of the family. Plot number 2. Romeo and Montague and Juliet and Capulet meet at a party at the Capulet's house and kiss. Romeo should not be there and Tybalt, Juliet's cousin, sees it and decides to take revenge for the insult. Romeo sneaks into the Capulet orchard to see Juliet, and they declare their love for each other and decide to marry and be together. Plot number 4. Romeo and Juliet are secretly married with the help of Juliet's nurse and Friar Lawrence. Plot number 5. Another fight breaks out in Verona and Tybalt kills Romeo's friend Mercutio. Romeo had tried to avoid the fight, but after Mercutio's death, he kills Tybalt. The prince banished Romeo from Verona for what he has done. Plot number 6. Julie is distraught by the news of Tybalt's death and Romeo's banishment. Lord Capulet tells Julie that she must marry a man named Parvit, not knowing that she is already married. Plot number 7. Friar Lawrence gives Juliet a poison that will make her appear dead, so that she will not have to marry again. He sends a note to Romeo to explain the plan and Juliet takes the potion. Her body is moved to the family tomb. Plot number 8. Romeo does not receive Friar Lawrence's note about the potion and believes Juliet is already dead. He boils poison and returns to Verona. Plot number 9. Romeo goes to the tomb and realizes that he cannot live without Juliet. He takes the poison and dies next to her. Plot number 10. Juliet wakes up and sees Romeo dead. She kills herself with Romeo's dagger. Literary devices. Metaphor. In this metaphor, Romeo compares Juliet to an angel. The quote says, "My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself because it is an enemy to thee." Romeo is comparing his name to an enemy and he doesn't use like or as. Simile. Romeo says in the quote, "Too rude, too boisterous, and it prigs like thorn." What Romeo is saying is that from his point of view, love is harsh and harmful, and that it emotionally hurts and punctures emotion or feelings, just like a thorn pricks human skin. Irony. When Romeo's friends can't find him, they assume he is mad about Rosalind, when really he has fallen in love with a new girl. Personification. The quote of Romeo says, "Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, that though her maids are far from fairer than she." Romeo says that the sun killing the moon, a human and animal action, is something that a sun clearly could not and would not do. Allusion. The quote says, "Well, in that heat you mean she'll not be hit with Cupid's arrow she had Diane's with." In Romeo that was Romeo in Act 1, Scene 1. Romeo laments his unrequited love for Rosalind, saying that she will not be here with Cupid's arrow because she has Diane's wit. The themes of the play. The themes are love, fate, death, violence, and rivalry. The symbols of the play. Poison. Poison symbolizes the enmity between the Capulets and the Montagues. Dagger. The dagger symbolizes violence, anger, and revenge. The moon. The moon symbolizes inconstancy and imperfection. Rose. The rose symbolizes beauty, love, and passion. Passion. The thumb biting. Biting the thumb symbolizes teasing someone. Prose. Prose is a conversational way of speaking which doesn't have a set rhythm or structure. In the play, prose is often used by servants or characters with lower status. Mercutio speaks in prose when he is with his friend Benvolio in Act 3, Scene 1, but switches to verse when Tybalt arrives. Poetry. Verse always has a certain rhythm and structure. Most of Romeo and Juliet is written in verse, where it seems like a poem. Shakespeare used verse. A sonnet from Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet contains several sonnets, a traditional form of poetry comprised of 14 rhyming lines, usually about love. Shakespeare himself wrote sonnets, as did most of the male poets of his day. A sonnet has 2 quatrains and a couplet. Since the last 2 rhymes are only 2 verses, it cannot be a quatrain, so it is called a couplet. And the iambic pentameter is a line of poetry that alternates on stressed syllable with stressed syllable, equaling 10 syllables per line of alternating stresses. This is a sonnet that Romeo and Juliet says to each other when they first encounter. The lovers' first kiss. Romeo says, "If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle fine is this. My lips, 2 blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss." The first verse, "with my unworthiest hand," ends with letter A, hand, and stand, letter A. The second verse is with the fourth one. The gentle fine is this, that rough touch with a tender kiss. They are letter B. There are 2 rhythms different. There are 2 different rhythms. Juliet's answer. "Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much." This is letter C. Which mannerly devotion shows in this? This is letter D. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch. This is letter C. Much touch. And palm to palm is holy Palmer's kiss. Letter D. Shows in this Palmer's kiss. Romeo answered, have not seen lips and holy Palmer's too. Letter E. Juliet answered, aye, pilgrim lips that they must use in prayer. Letter F. Romeo says, oh, then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. Letter E. They pray, grant thou, lest faith turn to despair. Letter F. Juliet answered to Romeo, saints do not move, so grant for prayer's sake. These, the two final verses, are the letter G. Romeo says to Juliet, then move not, while my prayer's effect I take. Letter G. These two letter G are the couplet, and the other letters A, B, C, D, and E and F are the quatrains, 3 quatrains and 1 couplet. Thank you for watching my presentation. Have a nice day.